Hello everybody, it's Nicola from Daisy and Grace, and thank you for coming and joining me on my YouTube channel. And welcome to 2020. Exciting times lay ahead. Now, I know a lot of you have bought my 2.5-inch Quilt As You Go template. That is a bit of a mouthful. And you've asked how to machine stitch the hexagons together, because I've already shown you how to hand sew them. So I'm going to take this opportunity today to show you the machine stitching them together. Now, before we start, when I first started machine stitching my Quilt As You Go templates, I used this foot. And it's got a little bar down the centre here, and I thought that would be perfect for putting the templates through. Don't be fooled, I've tried it. It gives too big a gap between the templates, so don't be tempted to use this foot. Just use a zigzag foot on your machine with a zigzag stitch. Or you can use a nice fancy stitch if you've got a stitch that goes over both sides of your template. So I want to show you, I'm going to be stitching in a bright colour so that you can see me stitching. But I'm just going to hold this up. This is one that I've stitched white thread on white. And as you can see, it's perfect. You don't need to hand stitch them if you don't want to. If you want to do something quicker, you can do them by machine. So without further ado, we're going to go over to the sewing machine and I'll show you how it's done. Now, when I am joining my hexagons together, I tend to join them in a whole row and then join the rows together. But if you're doing something like a flower, you can do them the other way. It's just personal preference, and see how you get on with things. It's trial and error really, and see how you go. So I've butted up my hexagons together and I'm going to put that under my foot, just in a little bit, and I'm going to start my stitch, and then I'm going to go back. Now the reason I go back, because every join on a hexagon, so this Y seam here, and every join at the beginning end is a weak point, and so we want to make sure that our quilt stays together, don't we? So I'm just gently, I mean you will get quicker as time goes by, but just go gently. It's not a race. It should be a pleasure to sew, so don't get too stressed either. And I'm going to get to the end and I'm drop my needle down, and then I'm going to back stitch again, just like that. That's my first row, and I always snip my threads because I tend to get myself into a little bit of a pickle if I don't. Now I'm going to join the next one in a line again, so again put them together. So we'll do that again. So started just a little bit off there, did you see that? And then I'm going to go back stitch again. And as I said earlier, if you're white on white, you don't actually notice the zigzag. But you can do some amazing effects with embroidery stitches when you join them. I've had one lady made a lovely table runner and she did an embroidery stitch and it was amazing. So there, I'm going to snip my threads again. So now I'm going to join this row to this row. So it's basically the same but not quite. So yeah, same but different. So I'm going to put that under, I match those two edges up, and I'm going to start the stitch and back tack again, because we don't want our quilts falling apart the first time they're washed, do we? We want them to stay lovely and beautiful. Now we're coming down to that Y seam. Can you see I'm just manoeuvring the fabric into position, and I'm getting to that point and I'm back tacking. Just a couple of stitches, and then I'm going to come forward, lower my needle in, lift the foot, turn. Sorry, I've got muck on my hexagons. Let's move that out of the way. So again, you can see I'm a bit shy on this because of the way you turn your hexagons. They're never all going to line up perfectly. It's fabric though, so you can stretch and pull it a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. So here we go again. I'm going to start down this side, and again I'm going to back tack a couple of stitches. Then I'm going to go forward, and as you see, I'm just pulling on this yellow hexagon. So look, it meets right in that Y seam. Perfect, look at that. Needle in, back tack a few stitches. That threw me, didn't it? And this will look a bit messy in the corners. I'll show you at the end. But when you're doing white on white or colour on colour, it doesn't matter so much. You don't see it. It's just because I'm using this nice bright colour so you can see what I'm doing. So a couple of stitches back again, and then forward. This one matches perfectly, look at that. So I'm not over pushing the hexagons together either, because then you can end up with a ridge in between, and you don't want that. You just want them to lie flat and naturally. I'm going to back tack again and forward. Needle in the fabric. Oh, the needle was slightly, well, this is a good place to show you. It ended up in the middle of between my hexagons. So what I'm going to do, I lift the foot up a little bit and move the whole piece over a section, so that when we sew, look, it's gone into both sides of the hexagon. Back a couple of, it gets a bit monotonous, doesn't it? Back a couple of stitches and then forward again. And this one's lined up perfectly. That's handy, isn't it? Get down to that Y seam. What do? A couple of back tacks, that's it, forward again. And needle into the fabric. Again, it's missed the edge of the fabric, so I'm just going to lift my needle up and manoeuvre my fabric again, and then start. Whoop. She went a bit quick then. And then forward right till the end. And again, this yellow one, you can see it's slightly longer, so I'm just going to pull the blue one and push the yellow one in slightly. It's fabric. It's not like if you're a paper crafter, you'd rip your paper. It is fabric, so we're all right. We're good to go. Done! Yay! I'm going to snip my thread. Oops. And look at that. That's how you join it. It looks a bit of a mess because it's in blue, but if you did it in white, you would never see that. And then you've got nice, secure Y seams and nice, secure starts and ends of your hexagon. Well, thank you everyone for joining me today. There's going to be lots more videos. I am going to be on it this year. I'm going to do lots. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'd just like to wish you a happy sewing new year. See you next time. Bye.